landing. You were in a landing ship.
Yeah, LST.
What's
One of
it,
these, that you landed on,
like at Normandy?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like the ship, it was an LST, just like they used to land on
Okay.
Normandy and all this thing. But they just filled us up with the bottom, all the stretchers on the bottom. And then we went out to the big ship, and they dropped this big chain, the big rope down, and hooked onto each end of the stroller and each end of the stretcher, and then lifted us up like that. And boy, that was the scary part of it, because we were lifted up out there. You just swing around out there, and it was about 4 stories up there at the top of that ship. I mean, they put landing on the ship. They brought us up, and then they took over and landed us on the ship, and the doctor started looking at everybody coming in.
One stretcher at a time.
There was a bunch of them, boy. It was full. Like when we got into the MASH the other night, when we got in and they put me in the hall, that reminded me of that MASH thing. When I got there, they got doctor examines and see what your problem is, and then he told them what to do. Well, they put us in the hallway because all the operating rooms were full, Cause we were losing a lot of guys on that battle up there on that hook. Well, we were the third company to go up there. There was 3 companies. We were the third company, and then there was a company come and relieved us. So there was actually 4 companies involved with that. And a company is probably 150 guys, maybe. I don't know exactly how many, but.
What was your company?
Huh?
What was
Adam. I was an Adam company. Had Abel Baker, Charlie, and AB, CD, and I was on an Adam company. And I recognized a few guys that were on that LST, on those stretchers. I recognized them, and we kind of talked a little bit about the battle up there. When we got up there on that hill, on the hook, man, there was wounded guys all over everywhere. And that was a busy thing, is getting them people down to that landing down there where those choppers came in and pick them up. A bunch of guys did that, but I was in a machine gun section, so they didn't send me down there, And I went on up there, and we went up there and set that machine gun up. We had 7 ammunition carriers. Each one of them carried 2 boxes of ammunition, and there was 7 of them. That's 14 boxes of ammunition. We shot 14 boxes. We didn't have any ammunition left.
But you never saw a North Korean.
Yeah.
It was all Chinese.
Chinese. All I saw was Chinese. I never did see a North Korean. I never did see a Korean except the ones that worked for us.
Yeah.
They had a what they call an ROK rock, and that was their army actually, and they were assigned to us.
South Korean.
We used them to carry stuff and things like that. When I first got there, they put me on one of those details that takes out to Bunker Hill. We had Bunker Hill out there, and we'd take about 6 of those rock army guys, and then go carry all the information out there. I mean, ammunition and food and stuff like that. We carried it all out there, and then we'd pick up the wounded out there and bring them back on stretchers. And one time I came back with more guys than I was supposed to have. They wondered about that, and it was a guy that had been shot, but he just went over and got in the line, He knew that was going back, but he didn't report anything. He just got in the line, and got back. They finally found who he was, He was just a guy that was trying to find some help,
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting, but it was pretty scary there. At first, I had more guys because they were afraid that the North Koreans might get in with the group and come back in there, and then it could cause some trouble.
Yeah. What was the name of the ship you were on?
Repose. USS Repose. Beautiful ship, boy. I mean, they had everything. And they had everything they needed to have on there. They had all X-rays machines, and they had therapy, things like that.
How long were you on there?
2 months. I was hurt in August, and I was on all September, and all of November, just before Christmas. I went back up on the front, just before Christmas.
They put you on the front lines again?
Yeah, but there wasn't anything going on. It was just Christmas time, and it was all quiet. And they brought the food out there. They brought big food out there, but it was all frozen. Peas and everything, you know, you fill your things up with peas, stuff like that. There was all ice floating around in there, you know. It was already cold. In fact, it was wintertime. But we took that back to the bunkers and had these things that warmed everything and warmed it up and everything. But then it was shortly after that, when we got back, we only stayed there about a week and then went back in reserve. That's what you do. You spend about 3 or 4 weeks on mine, and then you go back into reserve unit. And that's where you kind of relax and sleep late and all that, you know. It's a good time and that. And that was a good time. Got back in reserve.
So tell me about how you got wounded.
We had run out of ammunition, and they said, cut out, because the other company was coming in. The guys were coming in from that other company, and we were headed out. And I had that machine gun on my shoulder, and my friend had the tripod that you carried. And we were going down this trail, which was called a hook, because it went around like that. And we went down this trail. We got far down there, and there wasn't any truck. I mean, wasn't any hole to go through. I mean, there wasn't any trunk or
Path.
path or anything on it. It was all just flat. It had been blown apart. So many mortars had hit that thing, and it just flattened out all that land. But we had to run across that thing, and I got about halfway across it, and that thing hit. That mortar hit. And boy, it just blew dirt and stuff all over me, you know, just everything. But I didn't get any shrapnel of it. I didn't get the shrapnel from the thing. I just got mud.
But it blew you. It blew you.
Yeah, it blew me down this hill.
Blew you down a hill?
Yeah, it was kind of up on the hill. And I wound up about halfway down the hill down there. And I don't know where that machine gun went, but I lost it somewhere. And we got down there, and then, of course, the guys were down there getting the guys that were there and put them on the helicopters and send them back to them. So they had guys came over and got me, brought me down there and put me on a stretcher, and then they put me on that helicopter. And that was the noisiest thing in the world, man. That thing just sounded all deafening. Boy, you couldn't hear much of anything. Of course, my ears I think they were bleeding too. My nose was bleeding, my ears. They put me on that helicopter, and it took off. And another short distance over, we went back to the MAX unit, and they got out of the MAX units. And they took us in, and the doctors started looking at everybody and looking at what it was. They put us in the hall and put me in the hallway. Well, they put a lot of guys in the hallway. They put them all, almost with stretchers. Guys that were hit with concussions, you know, just concussion. Yeah. And if you didn't have to be operated on, then you wound up in the hallway. But they didn't operate on me, but my back was
messed up.
It messed up, you know. You couldn't hardly straighten up on that stretcher very good. Couldn't have walked. I couldn't have gotten up, I don't believe. And they put us on there. Well, then in a minute, a day or two, it wasn't a day, it was probably hours, probably 6, 7 hours, I don't really know, remember. But they put us in an ambulance. Took several guys out. Well, they put 4 guys in the ambulance. 4 guys. A lot of them had IVs going, you know, and everything. Took off in that ambulance. It had a wreck. Truck hit it, knocked it over in the ditch. They threw some of them guys around, you know. They had those IVs on them and everything. Of Of course, it was immediately when the people came up, the doctors and nurses and everything came down there and emptied out the.
You were in the ambulance?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, I was in there, but I didn't have any IV or anything. It didn't really bother me much, but still the truck hit the ambulance, knocked the ambulance down in the valley in the side of the road, It was a mess, boy. I mean, guys with them IVs and everything, they were down in the floor of the ambulance, and they got to us pretty quick and cleaned out, got us in another ambulance, and they took us down about, I don't know, a few miles down there, put us on the train. They had a train, and the cars had been modified so the stretchers had these hooks where the stretchers fit on them. And they put us all on this train. And I don't know how far it was down to Incheon, but we went from there down to Incheon. And Incheon was where the chip was. It was out there on the day of Incheon. It wasn't in Incheon, but it was out there on the day. And when we got there, they took us out and put us on those LSTs. They loaded them LSTs up, boy, pretty bad. They had a bunch of people. And then we went from the LST out to the repos.
So what was your division? What was your...
First Marine Division. And I was in the Item Company. Divisions have Able Company, Baker Company, Charlie Company, and all that. And I was on the I Company. And this therapist that came, this physical therapist that came, he was talking about his grandfather was in Korea the same time I was. And we started comparing if I could ever been with him, He came and looked at all those pictures on the wall. He was kind of, I guess, looking for his grandfather, And, when we finally got to the end, I was in 1st Marine Division, he was in 3rd Marine Division. So we weren't we weren't even close to each other.